Thanks all, and welcome to week 8, our final week together. I have been struck these past couple weeks in our readings and in TED Talks, YouTube Talks about C.S. Lewis, how much defensiveness plays a role in who we are as human beings. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't remember it as much 20, 30, those of you who are old enough, 30 years ago, how much it seems to have become our go-to as human beings. So I would suggest, because of our communication abilities, the fact that the world has gotten so much bigger, we are able through the internet to see things, to hear things, not just in a broad umbrella scope, but immediately we hear news. And in that, it gets a little bit more frightening, right? We feel like we need to circle in, pull tight, and defend who we are, what we believe, our people, whoever that might be, whatever groups we align with. I think more so than 20, 30 years ago, if you introduce to somebody else a fact, a new concept, the first place that they often go is to defend what they already know because it's uncomfortable to pull in something new, to align it with what you already believe. And it's easier to reject it and hold to what you currently believe and not make any changes, which is unfortunate. Growth comes when we receive new and when we come up with something brand new, when we mix the new with what we currently believe and come up with something that is creative and completely new. So I wonder how that plays into what C.S. Lewis already knew. So he already recognized that when he presents ideas of Christianity to people who may not believe it, may not have been exposed to it, or simply reject it for whatever reason, out of hurt, out of their own current beliefs, if he introduces them to that, the place that they may first go is to say, yeah, no thanks, not for me. And don't you see that in our current culture, that whether it's Christianity or any new concept that you're introducing someone to, the first place that we often go is to say, no thanks, not for me. I don't have time, frankly, is what a lot of people say. I'm exposed to this, that, the other, and I'm just going to stick with this line because it's what I need to get done for my job, for my family, for my current place in life. And again, that's unfortunate. We don't have time for new ideas. So Lewis's solution was through fiction and fantasy, and a place that, at least in the era that he was writing, people allowed for, and it cut beneath that radar of defensiveness that blocks out all else. It cut beneath that and allows people to say, well, this thing over here is for entertainment. It's not actually true. And I'm going to allow it to enter in because I don't have these markers of, no, there can't be a white witch because white witches aren't true. This whole thing is fantastical. And therefore, I'm going to allow myself to enter in and be sort of surrounded by it for a time and see what comes of it. It changes you. When you allow yourself to be swallowed in a story, even if you're telling yourself this isn't real, this isn't fact, it changes a part of who you are and how you perceive the world. Brilliance. But I think the hiccup in this era, 2019, almost 2020, is how much I hear people not allowing time for fantasy and mystery and fiction. Now, maybe we do in different ways. Maybe we do it in, I don't know, video games or things that we're doing on the internet. And I want you pondering that. I don't have the answers to that. Really, in the era that I was most in the heart of my education, or when I was growing up, it was truly sitting down with a fictional book, a book of short stories, maybe poetry. It was actually entering into fiction in the written paper word. I don't see that as much now. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I wonder where it is that people will allow themselves to enter into fiction. I hope that you won't just let this lie. I've said this already. I said it last week. I've tried to say it in writing, tried to say it verbally. You've entered in to the heart of who C.S. Lewis is and who he was, the impact that he still has on our culture today, his idea that fiction can cut beneath. But where do you leave that in your own life? It could be simply that you're going to allow space, that especially as you finish your degree and have more time for pleasure reading, that you will enter into fiction and allow your brain to be influenced by things that you might not otherwise have made time for. But I wonder, in your workplace, what impact this might have. Now, it may not be that you're going to write a narrative poem for an email when you're supposed to be imparting factual information, but story is something that has an enormous impact on people. And if you're trying to convince, for example, the higher ups that something about the lunchroom is not conducive to efficient work, might it be that instead of complaining or even stating facts and saying this XYZ is not working, what if you started with story? And it can be short. It can be a couple lines. So and so was in the lunchroom at X time, and very specifically in a single moment story, here is what happened. Might people be more apt to listen and to enter in? Something to consider. Our course is drawing to a close, so I need you to be on full alert this week. Get things in on time. Pay attention to the revision option if that's something that you want to do. Any of the response papers that we've written this term, you are allowed to submit again for 1 grade higher per paper. You could submit 7 response papers if you were so inclined. Yes, I will accept them all. Yes, I will look at them all. They must abide by the instructions on the syllabus under the paragraph that says revisions. Please don't ignore that. If you submit to me something that is simply a track changes document, I won't accept it. I will turn it back to you. You will not have a change in your grade. So if you are anticipating turning those in, make sure you look up what the expectations are. If you have any questions, let me know. Everything for our course must be submitted by midnight this Sunday, October 20th, or I can't accept it. The course has to shut down. We all have next courses that we're starting up. I am as well on Monday. So we've got to move on to the next. If you have questions, let me know. I'm meeting with a couple of you this week. I'm happy to meet with any of you, either in person in my office or over Zoom video conference or by telephone, or send me an email. We can handle it that way as well. Blessings on you as you finish the C.S. Lewis Narnia book, and I look forward to your final papers. It's a fun assignment. I hope you will agree. God bless.